Yo, Eric Dubois with edpbeats.net, and my quarantine so far has been kind of frustrating. Trying out new things, things are not working, updated to the new Catalina, and this computer is just so many issues ever since I've uploaded, so I don't recommend you guys do it yet. Kenny Beats have been doing some amazing live streams on Twitch, so I'm trying to learn how to do live streams on Twitch, so I'm not gonna promote it yet, but if you find me, there's a bunch of test videos out there and you can kind of see my frustration on how complicated it is, so I have so much more respect for gamers out there. But today I got a recommendation from Juanmo, I think that's how you pronounce it, on doing the vocoder. So vocoder I've used several times in the past. I worked on an entire project with Carl Bailey, and the whole vocals were done with the vocoder to kind of get this Daft Punk robotic kind of effect.
Do you ever dream in the dark and wonder why the world's apart? I've turned a scratch to a scar from my mind explode overthinking eyes. Do you ever dream in the dark and wonder why the world's apart? I've turned a scratch to a scar.
So the vocoder in Ableton is ridiculously good, and yeah, we're gonna work on it and we're gonna try to see how this goes. But before, I just want to remind you that you can find me on Patreon, where I put out free melody loops, and I just finished recording my weekly vlog on the accomplishments that I've done. And yeah, I just got my first royalty check from BMI, which is pretty stoked, and different pitches and things coming through so that I can just work on that and see how it goes. So check it out on Patreon, and let's get straight to it. What's in stock? Vocoder. So this is how the vocoder looks inside of Ableton. Don't get scared, it's not that complicated once you understand the mechanics behind it and how a vocoder actually works. It's pretty simple and pretty easy. So if you're familiar with the Daft Punk kind of voice and those robotic kind of sounds, then you kind of know already how the vocoder works. Basically, it takes two different audio signals. So one is going to be what you call the modulator, and the other one is going to be the carrier. So the modulator is usually going to be your vocal line or your vocal audio signal, your vocal track, and the carrier is going to be a different type of sound, so either a synth or a different, or drums or anything like that that you want to that's the sound that you want to hear, but you want it to go through the voice. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's pretty easy once you understand it. So here I just pulled up a vocal sample from I'm Grin, an amazing artist that I had the chance to do a remix for, which is just ridiculous. And this is the raw vocal.
Don't say a word, it feels just right through life.
Sounds pretty good. So here is the default vocoder inside of Ableton. So once you first start it up, the carrier is set to noise. So this is your carrier section. So like I mentioned, the external sound that you want it to play with and that you want your vocals to sound like. So first step is the noise. It's just a basic white noise signal. So this is how it sounds. So you can kind of hear it. This XY pad right here is going to allow you to kind of play around with the white noise and have some different sounds. Pretty cool. Now you can choose different types of carriers. So you can have external, which is going to be another track inside of Ableton, modulator, and pitch tracking, which actually is going to create its own oscillator inside of the vocoder, so you don't need an external channel to be able to do this, and it's going to try to match the pitch of the vocals, which is actually pretty cool, and you can get some cool kind of effects. So let's listen. So it's pretty cool, it's pretty fun. You can get you can just experiment with that and you can get some crazy results. Okay, so but how we are going to use it, we are going to use it with an external signal. I'm going to create a new audio track or MIDI track that I'm going to use as a carrier to modify the vocals. So you can do either a MIDI track and put in your own synth, but my computer is actually going to die ever since I did the Catalina updates. The screen recordings are just making my computer lag and go crazy. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to create a new audio signal, and I'm going to pull out a loop, pull out one of my loops from one of my sample packs. So loops, let's see what we have here. We're gonna use this guy. Okay, so this is gonna be my external audio signal. This is gonna be my carrier that I want to use. So what I'm gonna do here in the vocoder, I selected external as a carrier, and the audio input from is gonna be my 12 track, which is this loop that I pulled up. Now what you wanna do, and you don't wanna hear the loop playing in the background, you have to mute that channel so that it just triggers the vocoder and you don't actually hear it inside of the track. So let's hear it straight off the bat, how it sounds. So this is where we're gonna start playing with some of the settings here in the vocoder so we can recognize a little bit more, we can understand the lyrics a little bit more, right? So here unvoiced is gonna allow you to pick up a little bit more of the S's and the F's, so it's gonna add a little bit of white noise in those frequencies. So let's try it. So we still can't recognize it enough, so let's modify the band. So as you can see, all of these little bars are actually your bands, so you can make it very precise by having a bunch of bands, or a little more lower quality by having less bands. It's just going to play with your sound, and it's going to be pretty cool. So if we go with 40, it's going to be the most precise because it's going to represent the vocal line better. So we can start recognizing it just a little bit, and so you can select the range of the vocals. So if you don't want the lows of the vocals to come through, or the highs, you can kind of cut through all of that. This precise and retro is just to change a little bit the sound that you want. Gates, if you have some external, if you have some background noise in the vocals, you can cut it out directly inside the vocoder instead of anywhere else. Your levels. And enhance is just going to enhance the carrier. It's going to make it a little bit more realistic sounding. So let's keep playing with it, and then these little settings right here is basic in any type of signal. So let's listen. Don't tell me please to be quiet. Got me up so high. Don't say a word, it feels just right. Let's put a smaller band. So it's actually pretty fun to play with. So let's set it to everything back to normal, and let's use a different sound. So actually this time I'm gonna do a MIDI track so that we can get the effect a little bit better. Just a basic analog signal. I'm gonna erase our previous track. Now, so this is our synth. Basic analog synth, right? So now let's go modify our audio from in our vocoder to get the audio from the analog. Very quickly, let's just create a MIDI clip with just a few notes in there. Just grab this one all the way through, boom, 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 and this one. All right, cool. Just a simple, very simple chord. There we go. Now, remember, as I've said, we have to mute this synth track so that we don't hear it, and we're only going to hear the vocoder and our vocal. So we have it, the analog set, post effects, and let's listen to what we got. You got me up so high. Don't say a word, it feels just right. Through light, you got me up so high. Don't tell me please to be quiet. So this is pretty cool. Now let's play with the range of our vocal. You
Just say a word, it feels just right. You can be so right. Please to be quiet.
So you can get some really cool effects with this, and then just go crazy with it. Just have fun with it. Try it with different types of. Don't do it on a vocal. Try it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it on some drums, for example. So we're gonna take off our vocal, which is our modulator, right? And we're gonna add in a different type of loop. So let me see my sample pack. All right, so we're gonna put in these drums. I'm gonna cut this chick Apple loop here. All right, so now if I put, for example, let's switch it up. Let's put it to noise. So if you play with your dry wet knob, you can still hear the drums coming back in the background. Play with the format. This is actually pretty cool. This is something new that I've just tried out, and this is actually really cool. So I'm going to use this for a lot of sound design and cool stuff. But let's go back to our external. We have the sound from the analog, and let's hear how this sounds. Let's put the bands all the way up. That's pretty cool. So there's so many things you can do with the vocoder. I'm not going to go crazy on this right now. I'm mixing up my live streams on Twitch with my YouTube videos, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, have fun with the vocoder. It's super cool. Thanks, Juanmo, for letting me do this and for just telling me about the vocoder. I totally forgot about it. And yeah, see you guys next week for another What's in Stock video. Much love from Hawaii, and peace out.